Tennessee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment prohibits the use of funds to consider the social cost of greenhouse gases in the development and implementation of budgets, federal procurement processes, and environmental reviews. President Biden is directing agencies to consider the social cost of greenhouse gases in the development and implementation of budgets, the federal procurement process, and environmental reviews. Democrats, progressive Democrats, use this social cost of greenhouse gas metrics to justify sweeping climate policies and stringent regulations that drive up costs. However, the social cost of greenhouse gas is an extremely inefficient policymaking tool. Estimates are based on very questionable, flawed, and uncertain assumptions, and the Biden administration refuses to share any details on how they come up with these numbers. I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. For what purpose does the gentlewoman from Ohio rise?
Madam Chair, I claim time in opposition.
The woman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Yes, I rise in strong opposition to this amendment, which would prohibit the use of funds for the consideration of the social cost of greenhouse gases in the development and implementation of budgets, federal procurement processes, and environmental reviews. As I've said, it's undeniable that we are witnessing growing weather events stemming from climate change occurring in real time before our very eyes. During 2023, there were 28 separate billion-dollar weather events and climate disasters costing over $92 billion. And there have already been 15 confirmed billion-dollar weather and climate disasters so far this year. In fact, I'm sure the gentleman can check with his constituents, but people's home insurance is going up, and there are many places in the country where insurance is no longer offered. The cost of what is happening is rising. We do not have the luxury to pretend that climate change isn't impacting us or that our actions aren't causing it, and that we need to understand what is happening to people across this nation. We just heard from a member from Florida in terms of, requesting funding for beach replenishment in a place where the water's rising and sloshing over the edges of Florida on all coasts. So tell American citizens who have lost businesses, homes, and loved ones, or have lived in structures that have collapsed or disappeared from hurricanes, wildfires, and other recent natural disasters, that there are no costs from climate change. Wrong. It is already past time for aggressive action to address climate change and its impacts, and it's critical for us to analyze and account for the potential impacts of government actions on the climate, and it is just as important to use that information for positive actions to help heal. The truth is that climate change is having catastrophic social and economic impacts here, but across the globe, and they're real. Pretending that climate change doesn't exist won't make it go away. And I strongly urge my colleagues to vote against this harmful amendment, and I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back her time, and the gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
I certainly appreciate my colleague's sentiment, but I think the key there is the analysis and the metrics or the lack thereof on some of these policies and regulations. And as we assign metrics that can't be quantified to policies and regulations driving up costs to industry that's passed to the consumer, as you have more people moving into zones that are prone to tornadoes or hurricanes, you're going to see more incidents, you're going to see more destruction, you're going to see more costs. But those folks move there knowing that that is the cost-benefit analysis of it. So what I would say is that the current metrics are insufficient. They drive up costs. It's at a time when we have ballooning budgets, at a time when our border is wide open. These are the things that we need to be discussing, not metrics for gases that can't be quantified. With that, I urge my colleagues to support this amendment. I yield back.